So today we are going to be running around the province of Umbria, about half an hour from Perugia, and we're going to the little town of Panicale and a little 10k circuit, and we'll see how we get on. It is raining today for the first time on our trip. I'd almost forgotten what that was like. Almost. I'm Scottish, remember. I live 90% of the year under water. So today is the 1st of November. It is still cooler, but probably in the high teens at the moment. A little overcast and dull. It's to get very wet this evening, like Scottish wet, but only overnight, thankfully. And we'll see how we get on today. Never been to Umbria before. This is all new to me. Very different territory to where we were last week in Tuscany. I'm also trying out directions on a route I've mapped on Google Maps. So for once I've got an earphone in. Never run my headphones in normally, as I like to hear traffic and things, but I'm looking at the route I've picked is really quite quiet. Much later today than it should be. It's 11:30 now. Yep, the bells are ringing out 11:30 here. And I'm just having a kind of gentle warm-up walk along this path. Our house is there. It's the entire first floor. It's rather large. It's rather beautiful. And the lady who owns it, whose name has escaped me, but I will put a link to her place down below. It was a ruin with 3 chestnut trees growing inside it. And when she converted it or restored it, she salvaged some of the wood to create the support beams for the roof. It's just kind of cool. Good farmland here. These fields either side of us are sunflower fields, so hence this time in the autumn nothing growing, but come back in the summer and you've got 6 foot plus sunflowers growing as a crop. Common with lots of other parts of Italy, it's mushroom season at the moment. So these little woods behind have still got truffles. A bit late for the porcini, but you can still find them if you go looking. And the markets are full of them, as are the restaurants. Whatever the hell you want to get, it's got truffle on it. Right, kind of exhausted my facts about Umbria, so let's just see what we can see as we do our circuit. Don't know what I'm going to encounter today, so decided on the Terex trail shoes today. Certainly the right choice for this, but I think most of this is going to be pavement today, so we'll see. But I wanted to leave the Mizuno to kind of recover, since they've not just been worn to run in, they've had a lot of heavy use recently. So we've got a vineyard to my right here, Olive Grove. Smell wood smoke again. But I think that's farmers. Oh, that's the other thing that is dotting the landscape here. There are a lot of solar panels. The carport at our lodging is covered with them. We might run past a factory unit, which again covered in solar panels. Just make me rethink the energy strategy for the property we end up doing. If we end up down here, I need to stop thinking in terms of air source heat pump and start thinking in terms of solar energy as well. In Scotland we get long enough sunshine hours in the summer, but nowhere near enough in the winter. So it doesn't really make much commercial sense for electricity generation. It does for hot water, as long as you've got an efficient way of storing it. But here it's very different. Rita's working again as norm today, but I've had to bring the key with me today, which I don't normally do. Normally leave the door open. And I've got to be honest, the rattle of it, and of course it's a typical holiday home hotel type key, you know, it's got a very large fob, so it doesn't fit in any of my sleek zip up pockets. So it's in my jacket pocket, rattling away and bugging me, because part of the reason I enjoy running is the solitude and the mind drift, and to prattle on like an idiot to you guys. But that's very recent. So, lots of Italian families emigrated. I'm sure you've all seen some kind of gangster film where Italian American, well, some of that is based on very real fact, but mostly it's based on the fact that a vast population of people from a similar culture and background ended up in the same places, whether that's the cities of New York or Chicago or Australia or Canada or wherever. Glasgow, for instance, a lot of the people of Barga immigrated in the 50s to Glasgow. Anyway, a lot of these homes that we're looking at, and particularly the ones you've probably heard of, these €1 homes, which are basically ruins, and the community is selling for a nominal fee of €1, because really they're giving the property away, but they can't do that legally, so sell it for €1, put restrictions on the person that you have to refurbish it or maintain it or what have you, and then they get dilapidated stock off their hands and they get to improve their village and also inject some capital and people back, because although Italy still has thriving manufacturing in some areas, in most areas its income is derived from tourism, and so young people, I don't want to be a waiter, I want more from my life than that, and so they go elsewhere. And so what happened, time's gone by, people move away, the previous generation pass away, wills are lost or not written, and property just becomes, we don't know whose it is, or we know whose it is, but we can't find them because they moved to, I don't know, New York State in 1971, but after that they ended up all over the US and the trail went cold. And so there's houses here that get auctioned off because nobody knows who actually owns them, which is great for investors, and that's part of the reason why we're here. But when I was reflecting on it, it's really quite sad. Some people may have roots in Panicale that they never know about. And the more you drive around these areas, or all over Italy, the more you see properties that are run down or just downright derelict. We went to view one just outside Bagni de Lucca on Saturday, tiny little 2-bedroom job that had been split, because once it was a 4-bedroom with adjoining floors, or joining each side of the house on all 3 floors. But at some point, probably because 2 sons got half the house each, or son and daughter, or 2 daughters, or whatever the hell it was split, the front half of the house, no one knows who it belongs to. It's not for sale currently, and it's empty, so it's falling down. The back half of the house, the one we viewed, is for sale, but it's empty and it's falling down. And we thought, well, we could renovate this, create a nice 1-bed, but nice little 1-bed house, big garden, beautiful views over the valley. But then the house behind, we can't find out who owns it, and it's falling down and bringing yours with it. I got to admit, I was glad to say ciao to Tuscany's hills, but at least they were steep and sharp. Perugia's are just a long, constant incline, hopefully resulting in a long, constant decline, but you never know. Yeah, so we decided against that house, but it has focused our mind that if we're buying a property like that, then it needs to be occupied on the other side with someone who is caring for their own property, or both halves need to be for sale. I'll also say though, this region of Umbria is a lot more user friendly in terms of driving. Certainly for a big fearty Scotsman who drives on the wrong side of the road, according to my wife. Now that she's back on the right side of the road, both literally and figuratively in her head, my God, she's found a lead fit. So this is a road apparently. We shall see where it goes. But Google's telling me to go this way. Now, who am I to deny Google? Fantastic, I love these little three-wheel pickup trucks based on a motorcycle or a Vespa, and I've always thought them strange and a bit pointless. You know, how much really can you carry in that you couldn't just load in a car? Well, it's not really about the weight, as I discovered in Barga last week. It's about the fact that they can fit in the tune and a car just can't. And so it was fascinating to see these still being in use, delivering firewood and goods and services around the medieval town. Another thing we've discovered today, there's a property for sale in Maki, or Machki, not sure how you pronounce it. I always thought CC was a ch sound and CH was a k, but this one's CCH, I. So your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, there's a property for sale there, 2 flats. We thought ideal. It looked, from looking on my phone, one above the other. So just what I was saying with this double family home, and we would go and view them tonight. They're about 20,000 euros each. One's 70 metres squared inside, the other 60 metres squared. But when I opened it up on the laptop and looked through it properly, it was in fact the same property, but for sale by 2 different agents who had listed them as 2 different sizes. Not so helpful. So we've decided not to go and view that. Same town, there is a larger 4-bed-stone detached that we're going to go and have a look at. I've emailed the agent to say, when can we view it this week of an evening? I'm not entirely sure where we go. So let us pause and consult the oracle that is Google Maps. Yeah, it is down the hill. Cool. So Umbria is a landlocked province, which is, if you think about the shape of Italy, it's kind of north-south long, but east-west quite narrow. Therefore, a landlocked province is somewhat unusual. That looks cool down there anyway. Right, let's pick the pace up again now that we've got that hill over with. So this is the north of Umbria, very close to the border with the south of Tuscany. Yeah, there's a car behind me. That's a stocked lake down there then. Went for lunch yesterday. No, we didn't. That's a lie. We went for breakfast yesterday. Castiglione del Lago, Castle in the Lake. That was cracking wee town. And we went for lunch proper into Perugia. Not a city I knew anything really about at all. Still don't, other than it's only got 170,000 or so of a population, and they must have all been in tune yesterday. Either that or it's a tourist hotspot for Italians that don't live there. There's a lot of people about, but not a lot of foreign voices the way you would find in, say, Lucca or Firenze. But we were both pleasantly surprised when we got into the town centre just how historic and majestic it is, and what a view it has. Also, driving in from the road, not the autostrada but some of the smaller roads, you go through the mountain, and as you exit the mountain, and there's Perugia on the hill in all its splendour. I got a small video of it yesterday, which I'll post, but the day before when we were arriving at first, it was sunset and it was ablaze in orange. Unfortunately, I was too gobsmacked to think to take my camera out. More solar panels left and right. So the house we're staying in, that massive house, 4 bedrooms upstairs, goodness alone knows how many downstairs with the lady that owns it stays, but it's entirely serviced by electricity, with the bulk of her electricity coming from her solar array all year round. Pretty formidable. It shows you the solar resource that is available all year round. Oh, there's some wolf dogs. Good looking animals. Hey, I hope the gate's shut. I suspect they could jump that fence if they really wanted to. Looks very much like a wolf dog we had called Blue. He was a fine, handsome beast, but a big animal. Great protector, but not a barker like this. Very similar to this. They don't bark, which makes them kind of dangerous from a legal standpoint in the UK, believe it or not, because if it savages the intruder, i.e. does what it's trained and bred to do, you can get sued for it because it didn't warn. So you have to have a sign up. I imagine it's the same here, as there's attenti cani signs all over the place. Well, it looks like the route I've picked avoids the towns, which makes this a rather dull video if you're just listening to me. For sale. Oh my. And you get the 2 big wine-eating wolves as your neighbours. That'll be worth looking at. It's a little bigger a project than I wanted to take on my first try, but it's just glorious. It doesn't have the mountains that Tuscany had. parts of Tuscany. I'm comparing this area to Barga because that's where, as you've seen, my last few videos have been, and where we were for a week. I'm gonna say it doesn't compare very favourably, but it is 20 minutes to get anywhere rather than an hour. So 20 minutes to the beach in inverted commas, albeit a lake rather than the sea. But as I'm a fisherman and a swimmer rather than a surfer, and as the boys like kayaking rather than sailing, it's less of an issue that there's no tide. Fiat Panda meets Fiat Panda. Oh, I didn't need my sunglasses today, it's grey. Oh, buongiorno. But I do need them to see. There's a lot more road traffic than I had expected for lunchtime on a Monday. Google's no told me, but I think I turned right here. No, not yet, I don't. Okay. I thought I went up by Mazzarelli. smell that's blowing through the air really quite pleasant, as it's still warm in the atmosphere, and the baked tarmac is certainly giving off a bit of heat still. I think I'm going the wrong way right now. Let me. It seems a lot further than I was expecting. No, it is not. Okay. Stop. Stop double guessing myself. Google keeps saying towards Mazzarelli, but we've just gone past Mazzarelli, which made me double guess myself. However, looking at the map again, there's 2 Mazzarellis. Not unusual. In Scotland you tend to get, or the UK in general actually, but particularly Yorkshire, Lancashire, Derby, and most of Scotland, you get high such and such and low such and such. Oh, we've still been doing hills, so we still should be running. I'm getting lazy now. I love this. What we use as a fence. Oh, let's fire up my grapevine and at least we'll get food off it. What we put in the front garden? Let's put cabbages, kale and fennel in it. At least we'll get food at it. It's absolutely brilliant. Artichokes coming back, God, it's amazing. Mind you, I would think you'll get bugger all in the summer months because it'd be so burnt. The astute amongst you will notice I'm walking again. This fitness kick is not successful. I got to admit, I need to change the voice that Google Maps puts over this very polite English lady. Her pronunciation of places is quite interesting. This might be my right turn up here. Oh, the smell of wood smoke is awesome. Oh, I turned my ankle in a pothole. Rain is no longer a smith. But you can see that the place needs it. This looks like a lade of some description, and it's completely dried up. But this was not forecast until later today, which I am not so pleased about. scent from this hedge in the rain is amazing. Here's another one of these empty buildings. And who knows whether the adjacent farm bought the land, bought the building, didn't need the building, whether the family moved away and nobody knows it's there, who's inherited the land. It's a guarantee this is a farmhouse, it came with farmland. Did they keep the land? Are they still farming it but they've moved somewhere else? It's just, you know, question upon question. Meanwhile, this majestic building is slowly falling to pieces. With a huge fig tree next to it. I don't know. At last something I recognise, a beach, an oak, another beach. A car coming down the road. Right. I'll let her go past. It's not that narrow, but doesn't do me any harm. Look, a pumpkin patch. And some carved Halloween. I've only been in Italy in the rain a handful of times. It doesn't put me off. I've only been in Scotland in the sun a hundred. No, that's an exaggeration. We do get sunshine. We talk and moan about the weather a lot, but the UK is really a mild place to stay, thanks to the Gulf Stream and the fact it's an island surrounded by seawater. Does mean it's damp all year round, but it's very mild. If we got more sunlight, we'd be able to grow food crops all year round. As it is, you can grow like leafy greens, you can grow lettuce even in December, January, February. You get it in the right spot. Gotta be honest though, these long straight gravel roads don't do anything for me. It's like that bloody causeway to Cramond Island. See video 1 if you want details of it, or video 2, sorry. They are dull. Another vast solar array over here. I haven't seen quite as many as I expected to. Some of the roofs that we've passed have got a kind of standard domestic array on the roof, much as you would get in most of the UK. But some of these places have just, you know, it's almost like commercial. The wood smoke's tickling my nose. It's almost like Norfolk, if you've ever been to East Anglia. A little more heat than that. But these long straight gravel roads, very flat, rich arable soil, very similar in that respect. Not many fig trees in the wild in Norfolk though, that I'll give you. And then this is like the UK all over, regardless of size of town. It's got a well-maintained football pitch. Italy, just as obsessed with football as the UK is. Italy is just slightly better at it. Oh, I've gone too far, I think. Let me see. No, right enough. Stadio Comunale Santa Lucia. So Santa Lucia. Cool. It looks like the route I'm taking will bring us up past this solar array. I'm interested to see the cabling sizes. Although oddly enough, according to my map, I'm walking south just now, and I'm facing that array, which has been orientated north, if my map is correct. And it can't be that far wrong. That's a surprise. South would maximise the solar gain. I really do hope we run past this now, because I'm curious to know what the restriction is that means it's facing the wrong way. There's a car going behind it, so there doesn't seem to be any restrictions. You could have flipped it the other way. Weird. Oh, unless it reflects too much, and then cars would be affected by it. Or, you know, drivers could be dazzled by it. That's a possibility. Or, equally, there's no reason for it at all. A bit like the placement of Italian stop lines and on-ramps to the motorways. Some of them are perfectly long, some of them are horrifically short. It's a very strange place. Well, from my UK mind anyway, but I certainly think we are too restrictive. This is the house that's for sale on the flat. Wasn't expecting that. Interesting. So it's the top floor of this pink building. Well folks, I just walked smack bang into a very wet branch. And only through my Herculean self-control did I not squeal like a 12 weeks old pup. Oh. Right across the face. Love those. Comune di Panicale, zona industriale via Omini. And that's our house over there on the right hand side. I wonder, yes, this is the way we're going back. And we'll cut out Omini completely. I'll probably take about 3k off the route, which I'm also welcome to because it's pissing down. Tomorrow though, I think we're climbing that hill. I'll check that route out. Assuming it's not like today and that we can get a bit of a view. I don't know what this industrial building is. It requires these, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 concrete cylinders. It's almost like a grain store or something. I don't know. Flour mill. There's an awfully industrial looking wagon outside it. It's just an Iveco tipper, but look at it. I don't know. And then this, let's call it farmhouse here, and outbuildings, is all taped off because it's fallen down. As we rocked up here, thanks to Google Maps and our own inability to read the directions, it took us up to there and said, right, you walk the next 400 metres to here, weigh your suitcases, etc. Can't be right. However, for once, Apple Maps steered us correctly. Didn't do it yesterday, it took us a hell of a long way yesterday, but thankfully, because we'd done it once, we could figure it out ourselves. Moral of the story, don't rely on these apps solely. These look almost planted. Yeah, they are. This is a crop growing. Rita could tell you what kind of crop. I can't. It's definitely cropped. So this isn't sunflowers, or if it is, they turn it over, seed something else. But yeah, these, maybe see it better this way, they're in neat rows of green. Both sides of me. This is a street. Yeah. I would call this a farm track, but no here. It's also, thanks to the rains, now a little soft, because I really wouldn't have much issue driving down here slowly, and it's a bit high in the middle there, but we've got enough clearance in this wee Q2 that I wouldn't really have a problem with it. But there's not a lot of grip now. I can feel my feet slipping just after that light rain, which is now blessedly stopped, probably because I took a shortcut. Even if it's only temporarily, this is not a bad old place to come home to. Not bad at all. It was quite wet though. More wet than I thought it was. My jacket's soaking. Let's get this run over with. And you can stop listening to me babble on. How's that for a house? We shall use that at some point this week. Beautifully maintained grounds. Shower outside. Swimming pool, of course, closed for the season, but available the rest of the year. No idea what depth or anything. And then a garden big enough to play football in. Not a bad old place at all, eh? Right, enough. I'm off to get washed. I'll see you on the flip side. Ciao.